What's up, guys? Kraig here out in Warner, just for a quick jaunt. Garrett is off doing family stuff. Logan is busy with school, so it's me all by myself today. Does anybody feel bad or sad for me? Just kidding. You shouldn't. I'm on a flippin' Husky in Warner. So I'm gonna do a little single track for you guys today that we like to do. Garrett and I keep talking about naming all these things because we don't name them. And so every time we go to talk about something, we're like, hey, remember that one single track or that one wash or that that's by the other thing that, like, why don't we just name stuff already so that we don't have to keep, but the reason why is it's hard to name stuff. You guys know, I mean, like, how is this trail unique? What separates it? What would you name it? Would you name it Larry? But if you named it Larry, then you have a completely different problem. Like, now how do you remember that this is Larry all the time? Whoa, and how do you overshoot the corner? So, like, I don't know, the best thing is if, like, there's something unique about the trail, like there's a giraffe-shaped rock right by the trail, then you just name that Giraffe Trail or something. But it's just hard. Anyway, this is a trail that we like to do. It's a single track. It's on the south side of Warner. In fact, if I stop, you can see we call that the small playground right there. The large playground's over there. Rolling hills, purple rolling hills are all over there. That's the small playground. The fort, what's it called? Fort Pierce? No, Fort. Oh my God, I forget the historic fort. The historic Mormon Pioneer Fort was over there. Anyway, and so we're just pretty much directly south from that small playground. And there's this single track that it's just kind of fun. But it's got a really cool reward at the end. It's got a really nice view. It is a little, I mean, everything's subjective, right? But I wouldn't call this trail super hard. There are some rocky stuff like this. Like, I probably wouldn't take any big bikes up this. Like adventure bikes or anything like that. You could. I've been on this trail with a guy on a DRZ 400, and that was fine. But a DRZ 400 is a pretty small dual sport bike. It's pretty nimble. Anyway, but there are a couple of things, kind of like this that are a little technical. A little shaly, rocky, uphill stuff. And there's some rock steps that you gotta hop up and down. But it's not that hard. But it's got a great view of the valley just south of Warner. When you're done, we get up on top of that ridge right there in front of us. So here's a sample of some rock stuff. And it's not hard. You just gotta, I mean, you can just plow through it if you want to, but the better thing to do is to pop your front tire up a little wheelie, and, it's all about your front tire. Your back tire is gonna follow 99.9% of the time. It's all about that front tire and getting it through the obstacle. Listening to a little OMD this morning. I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 72. So, I mean, I was prime for I always want to hop that right there. One of these days I'm going to get the guts to do it. Anyway, I was born in the early 70s, so I am a child of 80s music. I am a firm advocate that there was no other decade better for music than the 80s. It's just so much good stuff. Having said that, I really like, you know, I mean, the 60s had some really good stuff. Every generation stands on the shoulders of those who came before, as far as their music goes. You know, if we didn't have the 20s, we wouldn't have had the 30s and 40s and so forth. If we didn't have the 70s, the 80s wouldn't have been what they were, as far as music goes. There's so many good bands in the music, or in the 80s. I'm listening to OMD right now. OMD is great. Or it's short for Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. But they're a European band that just good stuff. Just here's a good lookout. There's actually a way down right there and up. We've never taken it. It looks really hairy. One of these days we should. Anyway, OMD. I mean, you know, Depeche Mode. That's the thing I love about the 80s, is there's so much good stuff. And I'm going to offend some people here by telling you that it's not just pop that was good in the 80s. But, I mean, there's a lot of good rock, or there's a lot of good rock stuff from the 80s. I know they're all hair bandy, but, well, not all of them, but most of them. But if you can get past the silliness of the hair band, still some really good music. I mean, everything from OMD, Depeche Mode, that kind of stuff, Alphaville, you know, if you want to talk techno, Howard Johnson, gosh, I can't even begin to exhaust that list. It'd take forever. So much good stuff. But then you jump over to, you know, the more popular radio stuff like Bryan Adams even, or REO Speedwagon. That's kind of a little bit on the rock side. I mean, if you want to talk rock, Def Leppard and AC/DC and Styx. Styx was a 70s band more, but they had some good stuff in the 80s too. Eagles had some good stuff in the 80s. Gosh, so much just, I mean, the 80s is when Don Henley and Glenn Frey broke loose from Eagles to do their own stuff, and they had a lot of good stuff, single stuff too. What else? So if we go back to, I mean, okay, so here's where I offend people. Country music. I don't know what it is. Why are people just way too cool for school when it comes to country music? It's just so stupid. You know, every time I bring up country music at work, I can always count on 2 or 3 or 4 guys that'll just, you know, give me a hard time, and like they're just too cool for it. But there's some good country music. I mean, I don't know. But the 80s had a lot of good stuff, like George Strait, Clint Black, my favorite band of all time, Restless Heart. You know, Alan Jackson had awesome stuff. Travis Tritt was big. That's when Miley Cyrus's dad had a couple of hits. Just some really good stuff. And then, you know, what else? Every once in a while my wrist gets bored and it has to hit that throttle. Anyway, so this is, you can kind of see that this trail is it'll bang your bike up a little bit. There's a lot of rock stuff, but it's, you know, semi-challenging. It's not boring. but the view is what I'm after today. I'm just out for a quick ride, and I love the views. I'm still gonna get me an adventure bike. This bike, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, and I can take off right from my house and go to Tortuguit, but I just can't do it well on this bike without packing a lot of gas. And this bike isn't really meant for that. It's not really comfortable for long sit-down rides. This bike is meant to be stood up on here, up on the pegs. Speaking of which, people complain about KTM's seat. Sorry, but I think they're just a bunch of pansies. You just gotta build up your butt calluses a little bit. These seats are not meant to sit on. Like, you're not supposed to just be sitting on a bike all the time. I actually sit way too much. I sit more than most do on bikes like this. And I don't, my butt's just fine, so. Anyway, we're getting off topic, aren't we? I'm gonna be mad at myself for not naming bands that I love in the 80s. The 80s just had so much good stuff. That's what I mean. Just pop that front tire up a little bit, and your front tire will go pretty much anything. Here we go. We're getting to the view. So the single track keeps going. It used to stop here the last year or so. People have been making it go further, and it's pretty fun. But I think I'm going to stop for here for now today. I got to get back to the house, and I just wanted to see this view. You can tell I put a lot of WD-40 on my chain because there's black all over my frame now. It was dirty. Anyway, guys, that's the trail. We haven't named it yet, but it's pretty cool. It leads you up here. It keeps going if you want to, but it leads you up here and you get this gnarly view. It's pretty scary. I'm probably, see how all this stuff is just hanging? It's probably the same way underneath me, so I'm probably standing above air, but it's just a gorgeous view. You got St. George over there, Warner's behind us over here. We call this lower parking lot down here. What Everide calls the Death Star Trench is right over there. Signaler Mountain's right, I think there. Yeah, it's right there. You can see, you probably can't see on the camera, but there's towers up on top. Wolfhole Mountain's over there, way over there. I'm not exactly sure what this immediate valley is called. It has a name, but I kind of lump it into Warner when I go riding. Just the elevator shaft, Warner Valley elevator shaft is just to my left over there a little bit. Anyway, pretty sweet view. In the words of Everide, Colloqua out.